Let's give everyone 3 seconds to sit down, grab a seat. 3, 2, you're not running fast enough, Amy. 1. Okay, cool. So you guys have all been exposed to a lot of things here today, and the problem with these types of days is when we go home with too much, it's hard to deal with. So I'm going to play a little game up front before I start, and then we're going to dive into kind of what I'm talking about. So the first thing I need are 2 of the biggest Noble fans in the house. We got Noble 1, 2. All right, come up real quick. 2 of the biggest Noble fans. This is how the game works. You guys are going to look at each other, stare each other down, right? Memorize each other. That's great. She has a hole in her pants. All right, so you're memorizing each other. Turn around. Don't look at each other anymore. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a number. Each of you are going to change one thing about your appearance and turn around, and we're going to see if you guys get it. If you get it, I have a $25 Noble gift card for each of you right here on paper, okay? The number is 1. Change one thing about your appearance. Well, that's a tricky one. And turn around. You guys both were kind of jerks to each other, to be honest. You're going to prove a whole other point of mine. Okay, what changed about her?
Her one sock is smushed down.
What the hell? Wow.
Well done.
Okay. Can you see what changed with Jen?
I want to say it's a nose ring, but I don't think it is.
Nose ring? No, she did not change her nose ring. She changed her name tag. That was kind of messed up. But you still get your gift card for coming up here.
I was trying to look at it.
Okay, now we're all going to play this game real quick. Okay, so pick a partner. Everyone stand up. You guys saw how the game works. I'm going to call a number, and then everyone's going to figure out what got changed in the other person, okay? Pick your partner, stare at them, study them, get to know them. This is really important. You don't want to lose. Okay, the number is 10. Go! Turn around. 10. Change 10 things. 10. 10. 3, 2, 1, turn around. Okay, I'm kidding, that was a joke. Everyone sit down. Everyone sit down. Everybody sit down. All right, you see how that was hilarious, right? Sit down, everybody. Okay, what happened when I asked them to change one thing? Super easy, right? And you could even see what happened. Well, except Jen was kind of messed up. What happens when I ask you to change 10 things? You paralyzed, like what the fuck? How am I going to change 10 things right now, right here, right? And even if you did, do you think that other person could have picked them out? They would have been confused too, right? The point of this is you all have 10 things right now that you are itching to change in your gym. And if you do that, you're dead. So don't, okay? Pick the one thing that resonates the most with you, which is going to be my speech. Or maybe not. But pick the one thing that resonates with you and do it. And go all the way with it and write down the other ones and do that next quarter or next month or whenever you have the bandwidth to do it, okay? Super important when you're at these types of events. I'm going to experiment with a different intro than I normally do, and I'm doing it because Dale King's here, and Dale's inspired me to actually share this part of my life that I'm not ashamed to share, but I don't so much. 13 years ago, I was in a room just like this, and I was sitting in a seat out there just like you, and somebody was up here talking just like me, telling me all the things I could do to change my life and to make my life better and the things I needed to do. And I sat there in the back of that room thinking, bullshit, this will never work. This is not for me, okay? You see, 13 years ago, I was in recovery. I was in a speaker meeting for a speaker meeting for drug addicts, basically. And when the meeting ended, I got up, I got my free coffee, I got my free cookies, and I went to the bathroom, and the speaker was next to me at the urinals. So I'm peeing, and he's next to me, and I'm talking to him, awkwardly, as you're not supposed to do, but I did. And I'm like, you don't believe this stuff, do you? Like, you can't just say, do the things you're saying to do and everything gets better. And he's like, yeah, dude, for real, just do it. And didn't really believe him, but it resonated with me. And he's like, all you have to do is just show up every day and just do the simple things I'm saying, and your entire life will change. I left that day with that stuck in my mind to the point where it's still a memory for me today. And it's true. And you don't have to be a drug addict for this to be true. It's like the small things done every day, and you do the right things every day, and your entire world can change. I am now 13 years sober from drugs, haven't touched one since. But I tell you this because, for two reasons, really. One of the reasons I feel like I was saved is this community. I was in a CrossFit community, and I had an outlet for myself. I found friends who didn't judge me for the things that I fell down over, and it was actually truly a saving grace for me. I feel like the rooms of CrossFit and the rooms of the recovery rooms saved my life. So that's one of the reasons I'm telling you this today, because these communities you all are building and this community right here matter in such grandiose ways that you don't even understand. The second reason I'm telling you this, I am now forgetting, because that was semi-emotional for me. What was the second reason? Whatever. Anyways, I'm going to skip it. It was a good one, I promise. But around this time, I decided to open a gym. I fell in love so much with the community of CrossFit and, oops, that was that one. The community of CrossFit and everything that was happening inside the gyms, I decided to open a gym. And around the same time I was doing this, and I'm like discovering all these things about me and growing as a person in life, I came across this concept right here called Ikigai. Who has heard of that? Raise your hand. Okay, maybe 10%. Cool, so I'm gonna expose you to this. This is a powerful concept that it really resonated with me also at this time. What it's saying is, in order to live a fulfilled life, you need to do what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what can get you paid, right? If you find something that connects those four circles, you are living a blessed life that probably less than 0.1% of the world even has an opportunity to live, right? Before I did this, I was a computer programmer for a Pinterest marketing agency, and I was good at it. I loved coding. It got me paid. I don't think the world at all needed a Pinterest marketing agency, even at that time. I didn't believe in anything I was doing. I was just spewing out code into the world so I can get paid, and that was it, which left me feeling so incomplete. And I bet that story probably resonates with over half of you. You were working a job, you felt disconnected, your special place was the gym, and like you just couldn't wait to get to the gym, and it pushed you, and not even pushed you, it pulled you in that direction. The gravity of opening the gym pulled you in that direction. Because you were experiencing this sense. You wanted to feel Ikigai. You might not have known it, or you might have known it. The problem is that circle. Once I opened the gym, I started telling myself, oh, I get paid in PRs, man. Oh, like, I don't need to make money. You guys fulfill me so much. And as I started getting deeper and deeper into gym ownership, I realized how wrong that was. Because I started talking to more gym owners, and they started telling me the same thing. And then my buddy closed his gym because he had a baby. And another friend of mine closed their gym because they got in a car accident. And I realized how fragile everything was because we weren't getting paid. And so, as I journeyed down this process of starting Push Press, we got access to a lot of data. The more and more gyms that signed up, the more data we got. And I started to realize, like, this is actually an epidemic. A lot of gym owners are in the same boat as us. And I tried to pin it together, like, what is going on here? Why is this so hard? Why is it so hard to make money doing something that everyone loves, everyone needs, and we all feel so good coming into and leaving every day? Why is it so hard? This is a very ominous slide, and this is just the reality of the business. The churn is what's killing us. It's literally killing us. It's killing gyms every day. Every day there's a gym that quits Push Press because they go out of business. And that kills me. It kills me. And so we've got to figure out a way to get past this. For those of you who don't know what churn is, I'm going to explain it really quick. And for those of you who are allergic to math, you're going to get itchy for a minute because we're going to do a little bit of math, okay? Churn is the rate at which your members quit your gym. Okay, pretty simple. So it is a percentage-based equation of the number of people who cancel in a month divided by the number of members who started at your gym in the month. So if you had 100 members in your gym and 5 of them quit, you have a 5% churn rate. What does that tell you? For you to break even that month, you've got to add 5 members. Okay? Now, the average churn across all of push press, and this actually correlated pretty closely with Two Brains industry report, is 8.77%. In the software world, my world, we're expected to keep churn below 1% a month. 1%. So fitness studios are running at almost 9 times an acceptable churn rate that at least software is in. I don't think it's apples to apples, but I just want to give you a baseline there. 9% is nuts. That means for every 100 members you have, you're losing 9. Now, right now, I'm going to play mind reader, and I know everyone out there is going like, I don't lose 9 for 100. I don't. Because Mary quit, but I got the rest of them, right? The problem is you remember the members you like. You remember the member that had been there for a year. You remember those people. Who you don't remember are all the people who come, showed up for one day, and just slid out the back door and never came again. That counts. That matters. That person needed your services and bounced because they didn't get something. Here we go, math. I don't like doing math in public, and I know a lot of you guys don't like being explained math, but this is probably the most important concept you need to visually understand today. These 2 graphs represent the same gym in every way. Okay? It's a gym that gets 20 leads per month. It turns 20 of those leads into new members. The only thing that differs, and I'm also assuming they make, on average, $200 per client, just to make the math easy for me, because I don't like math. So the only difference here is the gym on your left, 9% churn, roughly the industry standard, is capped mathematically at 112 members. This is their magic number. Never can go higher than that at 9%. Why? Because at 112 members, they lose 9 members a month. I'm sorry, they lose 10 members a month. See, I can't do math in public, right? 20 leads, 50%, get 10 members. They lose 10 members per month. They're capped at 112. 4% churn, which is kind of like my industry, what I want us to get to. Holy crap. Like way higher, right? Growth curve, much longer, much steeper, flattens out at 250. Now, what does this mean in terms of dollars coming in? The one on the left is roughly a $20,000 a month gym, assuming $200 a month. This one, $50,000 a month. That $30,000 is everything to each of you right now. That's the difference of going out of business next month when you have an unexpected expense and not. And it's not that hard to get there. So let's quickly dive into why do people churn. Now, the reality is there's 2 different types of churn that we classify in our world. We have what's called involuntary and voluntary churn. Involuntary churn is stuff that cannot be avoided. Okay? So in my opinion, and if anyone has a reason that there is an unavoidable churn outside of these 2, please talk to me and I'll add it to the slide for next time, is I'm moving out of the area and I have a medical emergency and I'm not lying about either of those. I'm one or the other and I'm not lying. Okay? Everything else someone tells you, in my opinion, is what's called which is called voluntary churn, which I believe is avoidable churn, which just means they don't find enough value in your gym. I lost my job. I know plenty of people who will still pay for fitness when they lose their job. It doesn't mean they're not going to find a job. I changed my jobs. I have a new baby or life situation. I'm going to try out another gym. I'm not seeing enough results. It costs too much. I want to try something new. I don't come enough. I don't have the time, yada, 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 yada. They just don't see the value. That's it. Okay? So what we have to realize is, for the most part, people don't feel value in our gyms, and that's why they leave. And we really have to do a reality check on ourselves, because I think we're all going to tell ourselves, like, no, I have the best gym in the area, but people are still leaving your gym. It's happening. So why is this happening? I have a theory. Who here took the survey that got sent out before we came? A few shy hands, not that many. This is an accumulation of Cincinnati and you guys. The first question said, who is the most important person in my gym? And there were 4 options: members, coaches, ownership, and leads. And all of you guys correctly, in my opinion, said the members are the most important person in the gym. I also think that could be misleading, because people might think my coaches and my staffing have to handle the members, so they're pretty important too, right? But that's why the hierarchy is as such. But I believe the members are the most important person in your gym because they're paying the bills, right? They're the ones who you're there to serve. The second question, the most important business metric is, And it was churn rate. So basically, retention metrics is one, revenue metrics, people metrics, sales metrics, something else, or nothing's important. Everyone here, again, correctly, in my opinion, said churn metrics or revenue retention metrics. Okay? I don't know if this is because my message is slowly starting to get out, because I've been saying this for about a year now, or if because people genuinely feel this, because that number was actually like 20% when I first asked it a year ago. So this is growing. That's good. But the third question, this is currently my biggest problem in my business. Number one, I need more leads. I need more leads. This is the poisonous thought that has been perforated through our entire industry. I need more leads. Leads don't solve churn. In fact, if I give you more leads, you're just going to churn them out, right? And then when I add that with, I need to convert more leads to members, we're talking about almost 60% of you felt sales or marketing or leads and sales was your biggest problem in your business. And it's this split right now that is the biggest problem in all of our businesses. I say one thing, I do the other. There's not a single business in the world that can represent one thing and do something else that anyone will stay at. It doesn't resonate. So this genuinely has us misaligned, okay? This is how people who think about leads work. This is my brain. I need money. I need leads. I need people to come in the door so I can make more money. What am I going to do? I'm going to pass the fees to them. I'm going to do biweekly billing. I'm going to change the way I market. I'm going to do social media a certain way. I'm going to do price increases. I'm going to do all this shit that doesn't do anything for the customer because I'm just focused on the money I need to make. How does any of that, how does passing the fees on to your customer help your customer? It doesn't help anyone but you, right? So what ends up happening is the customer is absorbing all of these things that are the result of your mindset, and they end up saying, like, I'm out of here. Like, this ultimately does not resonate with what they're telling me, that they care about the results I'm getting on the gym floor. I'm going to go find something else to do. So Simon Sinek, who's heard of Simon Sinek? Sinek? I might probably say that wrong. Good amount of you. Really well-respected thinker. He has this concept called skiing through trees. And the way he explains it is like this. Everyone right now, don't think of a purple elephant. Who thought of a purple elephant? Raise your hands. Everybody. You're lying if you don't raise your hand. The way the mind works is whatever we think about, whatever we tell ourselves is important becomes everything we think about. And there's no such thing as negative thought. You can't not think about something. If you're telling yourself not to think about it, you will think about it. If that makes any sense. So, as a regurgitation of the last slide, once leads and money become our focus, it just consumes everything we think about. It becomes the center of everything we do. And that just really drives all the way into the customer, who now is the smallest circle on that deck. Now, one more quick thing before we dive into this. Oh, and I've got little, what do you call those, QR code things up there, because sometimes I do Instagram reels or I write blogs about them so you can get them there. But I want to explain how money works. And this is like one of these another just really dumb things that everyone knows but everyone forgets. So we're just going to do the exercise of doing it. Before we had money, I had to give you, let's say I wanted some pies and you had chickens. I'd be like, here's some pies. Can I have some chickens? Great, good deal, cool. But that's really inefficient because if you want something else, it's like you got to find someone who's going to take pies for personal training or whatever, right? So they invented money. And the way money works is you trade something for money. That money turns into a store of value, and you use that store of value to trade that for something you want, right? The key phrase there is store of value. The way money works is there's got to be value involved in the equation for money to change hands, right? So when you're selling anything at your gym, the value has to be there for money to change hands consistently. So really quick, I'm trying to actually, this is the cool part, I'm changing this keynote up as I go. I'm actually going to dive into a whole bunch of gyms that are here today, so this is pretty cool. So CrossFit 845 is out of Poughkeepsie, New York, push press client who has generously decided to share some of his numbers with us. One of our bigger gyms on the platform, they're doing just a touch over $1 million. He probably did some shady shit to make that O2 happen. I don't know. Seems very close to $1 million, but I checked the books and it's there, so it's good. And in general, they're beating the average handily on pretty much every stat that's kind of important in terms of revenue. And so my quest right now is what makes a good gym? Am I wrong? Is it not about what I'm focused on, or is it? So I called up Dave. and I asked him, what is it you're doing that makes your gym so successful? Because he's not in like Manhattan. He's in upstate New York, okay? And there's a couple of quotes he gave me. My main focus is to always give people zero reason to leave the gym. That's all I focus on. Okay, he's worried about churn. That's great. So I'm digging deeper, okay? He sells things in a PT first mentality, and actually Dave is here somewhere. Dave, raise your hand. There he is up there. So you guys can go bug him after, or corner him at the happy hour. He sells things in a PT first mentality, so he's getting buy-in on the value first. He's selling high ticket value first, making sure people understand that, okay? And in that process, he's setting up goals, he's doing in-body check-ins, he's making sure his coaches are heavy on the communication. There's a lot of, you are really important as a client in my gym type feeling there. This is not just group training and you kind of disappear into the ether of the group, right? He also does something that blew my mind because I've always been of the mindset that paid in full deals just take your best customers and make them your lower paying customers, which always bothered me. And he convinced me on a new mindset on that, which I'm buying into. So twice a year he has a paid in full deal. He only sells 15 per time, so 30 total for the year. And what he told me was, I'm actually locking in my best clients so I can focus on my new clients, right? I'm locking in my best clients for a year. They're paying in full, but they're getting a discount. And then I'm focusing my attention on all the new clients. The way he structures it is those paid in full people get the chance to re-up it, but if they go off, they can't come back on. So there is a time sensitivity and a little bit of a pressure to like, I'm on this deal, I like the gym. If I let it go, I can never get it again. I'm gonna keep it. So the reason I talked to Dave is because I saw he had like a $60,000 like spike one day, and I was like, what the hell happened? And it's because it was the day he sold the paid in full. So let's connect all the dots. We know what the problem is. We know how our mindset is shaped up and what's kind of going wrong. And now we need to connect the dots. How are we going to fix this? We're going to fix this with what I call the North Star. The North Star is the one metric that drives them all. It's your most important metric in your business. And in order to do this, I like to walk through, like, what does the North Star look like? What do we need to do to build the right North Star? Because building the wrong North Star is actually more disastrous than not having one at all. Because the North Star will guide you somewhere, and it'll guide you somewhere faster. And the one thing you don't want to do is run to the wrong place faster, right? So we need to make sure we set up the right North Star. So in order to build a correct North Star, it has to have three components. The first is, and the most important in my opinion, it's got to measure customer value. So going back to some of those slides before, price increases, bi-weekly or 4-week billing, none of that stuff increases customer value. Can't be part of the North Star equation, okay? The second one is it's got to represent a current business strategy. Unless you're just a brand new gym and like our current business strategy is just to like grow to 100, 150 members, whatever, get to break even, for the most part, all your business strategies are the same. You're trying to attract as many people, affect as many lives as you can, and you're trying to grow to a relatively healthy position in your gym. You don't want to get too big. You definitely don't want to be too small. Like everyone's current business strategy is probably almost the same thing. And the last one, it has to be a leading indicator of business success. Leading indicator is the key phrase here. Because a lot of us focus on results. How much money I made is a result, right? How long someone stayed a member is a result. Churn is even a result. No, it's not. I'm sorry. Churn is not. Well, yes, churn is a result. Churn is a result. So churn is not actually the North Star. And the cool thing about building the North Star is when you find the right number, or right metric, which I'm actually going to give to you on a silver plate, it does this crazy thing that it creates alignment. Because it's centered on the customer value, it brings your customer into the equation of alignment. Because most of your staff are interested in helping people, it brings the staff in. And lastly, because it will bring you more revenue into your business through more stable memberships, it will definitely align the ownership as well. And what's cool is, if we line this up correctly, with this North Star in the middle that actually is representative of all those three people and all those three things, it will change how we think. And the North Star becomes a driver of the way we think about our business and the way we go about doing things. So now we're going to think about how do we talk to people when we're marketing to them in the lens of the North Star, which I'm going to give you in a second, right? How do we program? How do we do foundations? How do we onboard? how do we run our sales program? Everything starts to happen in the lens of the North Star instead of being a result of the North Star, right? And I want to give you some examples of some big company North Stars just to really paint the picture of how these all line up exactly as the slide said. I'll just do a few, because it would be boring to go through them all. But we'll look at Airbnb, booked nights. It's not revenue. It's not how many nights, it's not how much money they make per stay. It's not how many hosts they have. It's not any of that stuff. It's booked nights. Why? Because if you, the customer, are getting value, you're going to go to more Airbnb locations more often. If hosts are finding value, they're going to buy more rooms or doors, and they're going to put more of them on Airbnb, right? Another one I like is Spotify, time spent listening. And Uber had one very similar, which was minutes of video watched. And YouTube, in fact, did I say Uber? I meant YouTube. Okay, so anyway, YouTube had number of minutes of videos watched. And what I liked about that is they set the goal of, like, we want to get to 1 billion minutes of videos watched as fast as possible. Now you can see when you start thinking about your business that way, that changes everything. We got to make the videos easy to consume, quick to find, like tailored to the person. Like we got to make them roll into each other so people get engaged. Like it changes the value, it changes the entire behavior of the product that adds value to the customer, and it makes the customer consume more. So now, what does the data actually say? Well, again, one of the cool things about being where we are at PushPress is we get to see all the data. Right now, we've got about 3,000 gyms on PushPress, and we've got literally hundreds of millions of data points to the point where Chris, every time I do a keynote, I hit up Chris back there, and I'm like, I need you to go through the data, and he's like, fuck, okay, because it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff, right? And I'm trying to slice it up different ways. We've actually hired some data scientists who are just straight up focused on like figuring these things out, and we've dove into it. And my biggest question is like, let's find the biggest gyms and find something that correlates them. What makes them all the same? Oh, that was a mind blower. Everyone do the exploding mind thing, right? Like, the one and only thing we could find in all of the data was check-ins mattered. Check-ins. Like, people who come to the gym don't quit. Duh. Right? Why are we out here chasing HSAs? And why are we out here chasing, just all this shit? And it's just like, make the people in your gym come to your gym, and your gym will do better. Whoa, right? Literally, that was the only thing we could find that actually drove reduction in churn. And again, if I asked any gym owner without looking at this data, how many times does someone have to come a month to make them a good member? Hopefully you can't read that far. What would you guys think? How many times? 3 times a week. Like I could ask any gym owner without showing them any graph, and they'll be like, if they come 3 or 4 times a week, they're probably a good member. Oh, wow, if they come 3 times a week, 12 times a month, they churn at 2%. 2%. Like, what would that do to your business if you had 2% churn across your entire membership base? You might be $1 million gym. Another case study, 2020 Fit. Again, I saw a crazy gym. They're actually doing $1.5 million. And I'm like, okay, let's go talk to this Miami, Florida gym or whoever they are and see what they're doing. These guys are in Overland Park, Kansas, which is a suburb of Kansas City. And they're absolutely crushing it. So I went down there and I talked to them and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Because like all your numbers are so crazy good. I need to understand this. I happened to go on a day where they had a staff meeting. So I got to sit in on the staff meeting. And what I found was 80% of the time of the staff meeting, they were focused on like who's not coming. And they had these little lists pre-printed and they handed them out to all the coaches because all the coaches had a roster of members and they had people highlighted, pre-highlighted for the coaches. And they're like, here's your list. And then everyone just left. I was like, what just happened? And they're like, oh, they're calling their people right now. Okay? And I was like, oh. And so I went over to the corner where one of the ladies was calling, and she's like, hey, this is Mary, and just want to see what's going on. Okay, you're on vacation, that's great. Okay, cool, we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week, cool, bye, boom. On the next one, just call the next one. So I went back and I asked them, I'm like, is this a weekly thing? And yeah, this is like what kicks off our staff meeting every week. This is what we do. And I was like, okay, wow, that's pretty cool, but still your numbers are really good. Like, most of your members are coming quite a bit. What is going on? And he said, well, when I sell to them, I set the table. I was like, tell me more. And he's like, so when they come in and they want to buy, they see the product, I put them through a workout, we do the whole thing, and they're like, they want to join. And then I just tell them like, hey, one last thing before you can join. If you can't commit to me to coming 4 times a week, you should probably just go to 24-hour fitness, straight up. What's that? His is 4, which I think is too high, is higher than it needs to be, but he's Kobe Bryant over here. Like he's like 4 or get out, you know? So basically he's like, if you are telling me you're not gonna come 4 times a week, I don't even want your business. Go somewhere else, save your money, go spend 29 bucks a month at 24-hour fitness. And then he's like, and then what every person does is they go like, no, I'm not that guy, I'm coming 4 times a week. Like, how do I sign up? Let's go. So he has no problem. It actually turns into a reverse like negative selling tactic, and it increases conversion rate. And he gets these people to come in 4 times a week, or they know that they're going to get called because they call. Right? You want to talk about driving your culture, he does it. Okay, we're venturing into a new section of the deck. So anyone who's seen this before, completely new. I might trip over myself up here. I'm going to give you guys that forewarning. But one of the cool things I saw is there's all kinds of secondary metrics now that people are focused on check-ins because I've done this enough. I'm starting to see more, which is cool. And the first one, big shout out to CrossFit. CrossFit wins. CrossFit wins plain and simple. So, and I'm not saying this because I'm a homer, but I am a homer. Anyway, CrossFit, all CrossFit gyms without doing any work on this or just like falling into all the buckets across all of our gyms, 7.63% churn rate. All the other gyms that are not CrossFit, 9.71. These people are driving up the churn rate for all the push press. Okay? Get with the picture, guys. Go be a CrossFit gym. So what does this mean for the same $200 a month gym on those slides earlier? That 2% change is a 22-member difference per month and $4,440 per month difference. And you ask yourself if the CrossFit affiliation is worth money. Or maybe you haven't because you're in this room. But all the people that aren't here, those fools, they're missing it. In fact, you know what? Take a picture of this slide and put it up on social media and say, like, this is why we remain a CrossFit. You need it? Oh, okay. Yeah, do it. Rub it in their faces. Okay, the next one. So I personally did an experiment. Okay, so sometimes like you can take, how's the saying go? You can take the girl out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the girl. I'm a coder, and I don't get to code anymore in my business. So last Thanksgiving, I was itching so bad. I'm like, I have an experiment I want to do. I have this theory that if we ask people how the coach did in a class, and we ask for a rating and a review, automatically, those people will become better members. And so I launched this thing. Are you using it, Amy? You're using it, right? Oh, not using it. Okay, well, I launched this thing called Gym Happy. It's just like a hacky project I made. And the premise is simple. Someone checks into the gym, they get a text message, it goes through AI, it turns it into your voice, it makes it sound like you, and it's like, hey, yo, this is Amy, I just coached your class. I'm just curious how I did. Click this link, leave me a rating. And it's not like a Google ranking. It's not like any of this stuff that's really expensive or heavy or makes them feel like they're doing something really crazy. It's just like a real simple thing. It's like 1 through 5 stars. Tell me how I did, whatever. Okay? This one actually here is from Brian Swarm, is a Gym Happy test user. Brian's always mindful of proper movements, timing, and scales. He's inclusive of all levels of physicality and experience while pushing you to do your best. He embodies the structure and foundation of his gym. That's what someone said about Brian, right? So again, my theory was, if I can get your customers saying, I love this gym, I give it 5 stars, and not only that, but this coach made my day in one way or another, that person won't quit. Guess what? Out of all the people on Gym Happy who left a 5-star review, and the other interesting thing we found on Gym Happy is people either didn't leave a review or left a 5-star review. There was no middle ground. 5-star or they just totally ghosted it. If all the people who left a 5-star review on Gym Happy, 2.3 churn percent. They had a 2.3% churn rate, right? So we just cut that down 3.5%, or times. Math in public. 3 to 3.5 times. The people that ghosted the gym reviews, 6.7% churn rate. Still better. Why? Because they're showing up. You don't get the message if you don't show up. They're coming to the gym. CrossFit, 7.6. Everyone altogether, 8.7, right? The point of this is like little things matter, and those little things aren't that hard. Like just making sure people feel like they're heard in your gym. Let's run through some tactics, and here we get to give some shout out to some gyms in the house. Amy right here, Swiffer CrossFit. So like I said, we've looked at this across all kinds of data points. I've even got it sliced up across clients, so I can snoop onto my clients and see like who's doing better or worse than others. This is Amy's curves. Hopefully it's okay for me to show this. Amy is doing churn at 6.72%, so she's about 2% better than the average. I asked Amy today, like, what is the driver of this? What do you do? What is the one thing you do? One thing I want to call out. She is actually an HSN client and an Affiliate U client, so she's participating in Two Brain? I thought they said. Sorry. Well, you're about to be, maybe, Affiliate U. Two Brain, okay, anyways, you still prove my point. You're an HSN client, a Two Brain client. That's a typo, big typo right there. And so these are meant for you guys to learn what they're doing. She said the first 10 mattered. And I'm like, what does that mean, the first 10 matter? And it was like remarkably close to YouTube. Like, I want them to do their first 10 classes as quick as possible. I found once they do their 10 classes, they're bought in, and they're in our system, they understand our culture and what we're doing here, so I got to get them through those first 10 classes as quick as possible. Process Swarm, Brian over there. 5.41 churn percent. We're getting closer to 4. This is looking good, okay? And I have these other stats here which I didn't explain, but this is like your average check-ins per member, and this includes like the people that come 0 times. They like really drive down the average there. And then how many people have 0 check-ins? So like these people are the ones that are probably churning right here, these 13%. But you'll see as we go across these, so the average here is 34% across all push press have 0 check-ins. Now part of that 34% is because gym owners are lazy and they're like, oh, I don't want to do check-ins. I don't want to keep track of that, right? But that is the #1 thing you can do to understand who's going to churn, so probably should do it. So if you're not doing check-ins, whatever system you're on, do it. Like, get on that. Brian's big thing. Oh, and Brian, you're on HSN and Affiliate U? Okay. Now I'm getting scared. HSN and Affiliate U. So when people join, he does kind of what 2020 Fit did. Hey, you're going to join my gym. You tell me how many times a week you want to come, and you tell me what your goals are. And guess what they do every week from there on? Hey, you told me you're going to come 3 times a week. You came 4, man. Good job, right? Or you told me you're going to come 3 times a week. You only came 1. What's up? What happened? I'm here to be your accountability coach. Oh, you had a rough week? You're going to come back tomorrow? Like, streak starts with tomorrow. Let's go. Gets him back in the gym, okay? Timberhead CrossFit, raise your hand. Where are you? Where are you? There we are, right there. Okay, 5.36%, pretty good. That little spike right there is probably some anomaly of the last month's data, but all in all, like you can see their green line is pretty much below that blue curve. They also are an Affiliate U client. Now I'm so gun shy about this. Okay, Affiliate U client. So they do what I'm calling a sales-driven membership commitment, right? So they're offering commitment packages. Like you can join month to month, it's X dollars, but if you do a 6-month commitment, it's going to be X minus whatever, year commitment, like nothing new we haven't heard of before a million times. But again, it creates the conversation. Why? Why am I giving you a discount to come 6 months? Because I want you to succeed. For the people who are investing in their time and money to succeed, I'm going to give you a discount. And this way we all are aligned on the direction of the value you're going to get. It's going to take 3 months to get anything. Let's just sign you up 6 months minimum. Okay? And one of the cool things that he told me that he did, or they did, was if the person decides that they are going to quit, they just refund back the discounts that were given to them. Is that right? Yeah. So it turns out a little more equitable, but it's more about setting the mindset coming into the gym. You notice a lot of this stuff is about mindset, right? CrossFit Simpsonville, where are y'all? Up there. Okay, cool. So 4.36%. Oh man, now we're cooking, right? We're in the 4%. Another Affiliate U client, his one big thing that he felt drove the needle were events. He actually rattled off like so many things. Like he told me actually like this is everything I think about churn. So he was like, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, and I do that. And I was like, give me the biggest one, right? Just give me the biggest one. Events. So what he says he does is every 2 months he has an event, and he does it on such a cadence that he's telling everyone at the event today what the next event's going to be, so everyone knows that in 2 months this next event's going to come. He makes them super fun. He has bring a friend, and everyone understands when you lose your membership, you lose access to the events. The community is a big driving point of everything that they do, so for him the events were a big one. 4.36%. I would say let's give everyone that just came through on the slides a round of applause for driving the needle. Now, the point I wanted to make, that was another mind-blowing point. I did not handpick these people. I literally just saw, they came up to me, I talked to them, I'm like, let me look up your gym. Oh, wow, you're better. Let me do a thing about you, right? Did that for 4 of them. And then at the end of it, I said, oh, are you using HSN or Affiliate U or anything else? And they told me, is it a shocker that all of them are using some mentoring group and or even the nutrition services of HSN? Like, doing this on your own is so hard. Like, you need people in your corner. And I found it to be remarkable that, like, a lot of times, like, I'm not going to lie, like, when people do this stuff, they're going to fabricate the story they want to tell. This was not. It was like I just picked 4 people out of the room that talked to me. All of them had lower churn, and all of them used a service that's here, remarkably, to help them become a better gym. And they are, like, literally, like, almost 2 times better gyms here. That was pretty crazy to me. Okay, so now we know our North Star metric is check-ins. That's what we're focused on. So now you can go back and start to think, how do I go to market with that? How do I tell my story? How do I build my events around this? How do I do sales? How do I onboard people? What does the intro session look like? Do I sell PT or not? When you frame all of these questions of how to run your business around the idea of everything's about them coming into the gym, everything gets so much easier. Okay? I think the next iteration of this keynote is I'm actually going to dive into that, and we're going to break out how to build a growth chart of a business using this concept. But now you can see you can build everything that laser points into driving check-ins, which drives customer value, which brings monetary value to you. That's the simple equation of money that we went over earlier. So this just gets a little bit deeper, right? So we're going to adjust our marketing, our sales, all these different things. Now you can see, like, as you continue to drive this through the center of your thought, it goes down all the way into the tactics of what you do. How do I write the words on this blog? What are the things I focus on when I'm talking to a sales consult, right? It goes all the way down. And the beautiful thing about all this is as you do this and as you drive this concept into your business and your coaches start to understand it and your customers start to understand it and everyone's unified on this concept, you've just created culture. You've created a culture of value that is 100% focused on the person who's coming in and giving you money for your services, right? And that is what makes a great business. Now, I'm a big proponent of flywheels. I've studied business a ton. And the way successful business works is they create tailwinds. And conversely speaking, the way bad businesses operate is they create headwinds. And your actions will create one or the other. What I've just explained to you will create tailwinds if you execute this correctly. And this is a diagram of that tailwind. So we start up here. The North Star metric will align your thinking, will help you create decisions that you're going to execute in your business that will drive a crazy amount of focus, and that focus will be on your customer, right? With all that focus on your customer and all these decisions laser pointed on exactly what you need to do, you're going to have better outcomes for everyone involved in your business. Not just you, but your coaches and staff. They're going to service the customers better, and especially your customers. That's going to make you more money eventually. The problem we are talking about from the jump here. It's going to make you more money, which will allow you to make bigger decisions. Things that are more impactful for your clients that they will be willing to pay even more money for because you're solving bigger problems. But you've got to start the flywheel. And I want to close by just saying this. Everyone in this room is operating in the sphere of Ikigai. And we're not selling something the world doesn't need. I don't have to impress upon you that the world needs this. We actually need to do a better job to explain that to the world. There are 8 billion people in the world. 8 billion. If every gym could fill 500 people, which we can't, but let's just pretend, because the math's easier, that turns into 16 billion gyms are needed. God, I can't do math in public. 16 million. 16 million gyms. 16 million gyms are needed to satisfy the demand that should be there. There's not a single person on this earth that doesn't need more fitness, right? Maybe if you're like under 4, I don't know, but still. 16 billion gyms. You know how many gyms there are today across the entire world? 200,000. 200,000 gyms. There's so much water in this ocean for us to find. And I don't know if Austin said it this one, but the last one, he said something that really resonated with me. It's like, everyone in this Everyone in this cohort right here should not be fighting with each other. There's 16 million gyms that need to be built. Having another CrossFit across the street from you, down the street from you, a yoga studio over there, like, great. We all have enough to eat. If you had 500 members in your gym, how successful would you be? So we all actually have to work together to get all of the world to understand how much they need us. And so with that, like, I'm imploring you guys, find a way to complete your Ikigai. Because without this important circle at the bottom, and even if you tell yourself right now, this is a hobby gym, or I don't need to make money, or your PRs or my payment, or whatever things you're telling yourself, even things I used to tell myself, it's not true. Because the reality is if you're not making money, you're one car accident away or one life event away from closing your gym. And if you close your gym, all your people don't have a home anymore. And even if you tell me this is a hobby gym and all I'm doing it for my people, that should be reason enough, right? You've got to make money so you can provide comfortability and stability for your own community. And that's basically it. That's the keynote. The one thing I do want to say, when I was in that recovery room, I was just discovering CrossFit as well. I do believe, honestly, a lot of CrossFitters are obsessive compulsives. A lot of addicts are obsessive compulsives. I'm not saying it's a one-to-one correlation, but I do think our community is very obsessive compulsive. We track all these Fran times. We do all this crazy stuff. But anyway, I found CrossFit right at the time I was coming through recovery. This is my world. This is everything to me. So this isn't like I'm a CEO suit who's coming in here talking to you because you're a bunch of people that I want to sell product to. Push Press and CrossFit are so aligned that I think besides CrossFit organization themselves, there's nobody that cares about you guys more, right? We do have I think, I don't know which one's us. I guess CrossFit can be Jalen, will be Javon. I believe in creating 1 + 1 = 3 scenarios in everything I do, and I believe what we're doing here is a 1 + 1 = 3. And so we do have a summit special. One of the coolest things is if you just book a demo with our guys back there, we have Noble gift cards to give out. They said, we'll give away $75, and I said, let's make it around 100. Hell, let's do it. So you book a demo, you get a $100 gift card. We are part of the APN. We save a boatload of money there. And the last thing is, again, I'm an ex-gym owner. I hate giving money to Google and Facebook and all these other platforms. If you want to switch to Push Press, I'll just give you the money I would have spent on the ad money to get you. So I'd rather put the money in your hand. So that's kind of the spiel for us. Other than that, that's it.